Well. So, gentlemen, October 22.
No ladies?
When we have a lady, we will. Ladies and gentlemen.
You are so confident that...
we will get.
Huh?
We will get one.
Ladies are not watching you, huh?
They will watch us.
They will or they are?
They are. Both.
So then, please acknowledge ladies also.
Let's restart. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, and for the gentlemen here in the studio, 12 days on, they'll come. Even there. 12 days on, we still don't have a semi-finalist from either group in this T20 World Cup 2022. Pakistan, that mercurial, ever infuriating Pakistan, are still alive in the T20 World Cup 2022 after beating South Africa by 33 runs.
Zulkarnain Haider. Huh?
Okay, that Zulkarnain Haider. That Zulkarnain played with a broken finger in that 2010 Test match against England, got 88 if I'm not wrong, and disappeared ever since. Thanks Zulkarnain for making an appearance on Sports Today. So
he's not too happy, I think. I think he is happy.
He's shedding tears of joy.
Yeah.
He is.
Anyway, sorry. Please
so, India are on top in Group 2 with 6 points. South Africa are second with 5 points. Pakistan and Bangladesh are on 4 points each. In that other group, New Zealand, Australia, England are tied with 5 points, Sri Lanka with 4. But because today's match, Pakistan's net run rate has improved to 1.117.
That is what I think would be a little concerning for the Indian team, the run rate. Although at this point in time, India has a very, very simple equation. They have to win that game against Zimbabwe on 6th, that is on Thursday, and they'll be through to the semi-finals.
And they'll be group toppers as well?
Yes, now they will be group toppers.
Now that South Africa have lost this game. So South Africa, and for South Africa, if they win that game against Netherlands, they will also be through. So for Pakistan, well, they've got a pretty decent run rate, better than of course
India.
Indians. So what they want is, they'll have to win that game against Bangladesh, which may or may not be that easy considering how Zimbabwe played against India last evening. And then they would also...
And given the kind of performance that Bangladesh put in yesterday.
Yeah, that's... So, and also they would hope that India lose their game against Zimbabwe. And then...
Yes. I mean, even Roy SP with the super chat adds with a big update that. But in our situation, even Reigns will see us through. Yes, India will get to 7 points. If the game is a washout, then Pakistan are eliminated right there. Even if they thrash Bangladesh by 200-250 runs, still it doesn't make a difference. South Africa won't lose to the Netherlands, agreed. But South Africa's confidence...
Can we say the same for India? India won't lose to Zimbabwe? Can we?
Yeah, they won't. But remember, this is the first time ever that India are playing Zimbabwe in a T20 World Cup. They have played 7, but all of them have been in Harare.
Yeah.
So, a debut match for both these guys together, and Virat Kohli has not played a T20 against Zimbabwe for the past 12 years. We don't know what kind of dynamics will happen. Zimbabwe showed that they could beat Pakistan, defending a smallish total of 130. And that is why we never know. But simple, as you said, India win, they are in...
Through and the group toppers.
Yes. So from that other group, if New Zealand win, they will top the group mostly.
So in all likelihood,
we are looking at an India-England semi-final, potentially at this point in time.
But that's given that England beat Sri Lanka then.
Yes.
That's a virtual knockout as well in that group.
Yep. That will be on November 5, we will come to know what will happen. Tomorrow, we may see New Zealand become the first team to seal their spot.
So, for sure, from this group, that is Group 2, there will be one Asian team.
Yes, one Asian team indeed.
Most likely,
it will be India.
And hopefully, it would be India. But
But man, plus 1.117. Now, they will be ruining that 1-run loss to Zimbabwe.
Of course.
Those two last over losses, if Pakistan go out of the tournament, they'll be ruining. Why did we lose it in that last over?
You know, when you started, you said it's been close to 22 days.
2022 days.
Not 2020, 12 days, no. We started the Super 12 on October 22nd.
22nd is when we started.
My maths is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think also because of these rain affected games, I think that is one of the reasons why you still don't have a clear semi-final
Yes.
from either of the two groups.
Yep.
So South Africa,
That
when they had
one
to
win
share-
against, that 1 point against Zimbabwe.
Exactly. When they had to share points with Zimbabwe from the other group also.
Afghanistan's 2 washed out games. New Zealand 1 washed out. Australia, England washed out.
Got washed out,
So I think probably one of the reasons why you still don't have a semi-finalist
Is the rain.
Out of all the World Cups that you have covered, Rahul, aside from 2007, the T20, is this the most unpredictable T20 World Cup that you have ever covered? If you look at all the other World Cups, I thought 2007 was unpredictable primarily because it was a new format. But this, I think, takes the cake for unpredictability.
Yeah, but I think
although
even to start with, when the tournament began, I thought it perhaps was the most open T20 World Cup because you had the likes of Australia playing in home conditions, but still they were also struggling leading into the into this T20 World Cup with David Warner not amongst the runs, Aaron Finch, and some of their players like Cameron Green. They were not drafted into the team. South Africa also, they had their issues because although they seemed a pretty good side, but they travelled to India, lost that T20
2-1.
series. India, of course, lost that Asia Cup.
Yes.
In fact, they didn't even make it to the final, which actually was a surprise.
Yep.
In Pakistan, we never knew if they had the kind of batting to do well in Australia because and so I thought this perhaps was one of the most open World Cups. Of course, England maybe was one team that everyone thought that might just do well in those conditions, but I think the scenarios at this moment have also been impacted because of those rains that have happened in the tournament.
If rain was a entity, he would be joined third in Group 2.
Most of the matches.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because in
And
Group...
table toppers over there, maybe?
No. He would be joined third there also.
Four matches.
Yeah, four matches. He's gotten...
4 matches. So
8.
tied with Sri Lanka over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think Klaasen is a better choice than Stubbs? Roy SP saying Bavuma is a big plus for SA. Okay. Yeah, today.
So today he was. Definitely. Highest run scorer also for them?
Yes.
Yes. With 36 of
19.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But Rabada's form in T20 is a concern. Yes. Massive. Riley is extreme. Can get you 100, can get to single figures. So Pakistan have
but still, a couple of things going well for South Africa. Coming into the tournament, you thought that, in the bowling department, probably Rabada will be the strength and your Lungi Ngidi will probably be that weak link. But it's, so if he's having a bad day, then Ngidi is picking up wickets.
Yep.
All in all, which is why you see South Africa in a good position. If you just remove today's performance, let's say they were, the only undefeated
But
team
it's
in
a
the tournament.
precursor. You may take wickets, but if you leak runs, you'll get a Pakistan-like situation. What happened? 185. I think, and Nikhil is live with us from Melbourne after the chill of Adelaide. He's back in Melbourne. How's the weather, Nikhil? Colder in Melbourne or much better than what it was in Adelaide? Can Nikhil hear us?
Because from where? Yeah, I can. Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Now we can. Yes.
Can
Yeah.
we
So
have him on,
it is cold, yes, but I wouldn't say it's colder because Adelaide was colder. So even though the temperature here is about 11-12 degrees, similar to Adelaide, I think what makes Melbourne slightly more bearable is the fact that there's no cold or chilly winds that are blowing here, which we encountered in Adelaide. So that made it very cold, but it's cold nonetheless here in Melbourne too, and that's why my jacket is out. And we've just reached our hotel, just checking in right now. It's pretty late here at night, closing in on midnight.
No apartments this time?
Sorry?
No apartment this time?
Yes, we are in an apartment. So most places that we've
Yeah.
stayed in. Sorry, most places that we've stayed in. They've been hotels which have apartments. That sort of an arrangement is what we've got. By the way, let me tell you, we're back to the same hotel where we were staying. It's an infamous hotel. So India won the game, but
The Lucky Hotel.
my phone. So it's infamous for that. This is where I
I
lost my phone.
hope you don't break another of your phones.
I was doing life in a similar way as I'm doing them now. So deja vu. Deja vu, just that my phone is secure and it just had a slip.
Maybe it will
but
be a
it
good
fell on-
omen, huh? You know,
It fell on a
same
footpath.
hotel in Melbourne. You
Yes.
breaking another phone and buying another one. No?
No, I've exhausted all my DAs in buying the phone only. So I don't think I can afford another phone.
This is
It's very expensive.
This is the
Australia is very
contingency plan,
expensive.
Nikhil.
Right?
This is why you always have a contingency plan.
You know what happened to my contingency plans when I went for Asia Cup? so, so those plans are also not great.
Hopefully, maybe this time you may not have to return home early. Maybe
I won't.
you'll be there.
India is playing the semi-final. By the way, today's game, there is still, and I'm looking at that chance. There is still a possibility that both India and Pakistan make it to the semi-final. The way that's possible, you would need the South Africa game to be washed out. If their final game against Netherlands is washed out, then you can have a scenario in which if India were to beat Zimbabwe and Pakistan will beat Bangladesh, then in that scenario, both India and Pakistan will go through, and South Africa then could be out. So that is still a scenario, and I mean, I think even if where India stand right now, it's for the very first time that India wouldn't mind a washout, because if it's a washout, they qualify, irrespective.
Right.
It's only one situation which can. This Pakistan win is not going to augur well for India. The only way that is that if India end up losing to Zimbabwe, so it's a must-win game for India, because if you lose to Zimbabwe and Pakistan win their game, then India is out, and South Africa you would expect them to beat Netherlands. So for India now, all pressure on that Zimbabwe game. And mind you, I don't think they can take Zimbabwe too lightly, considering Zimbabwe had been in better form than Bangladesh recently, leading up to this T20 World Cup. In fact, I think they'd beaten Bangladesh in a series, if I'm not mistaken. So Bangladesh gave you a scare. So you cannot take Zimbabwe lightly, and not forgetting the fact that you're playing at the MCG, a place where it helps fast bowlers. And you saw what the Zimbabwe bowlers did to the Pakistani batsmen. So it's not a game you can take very lightly. So what's very interesting is that even as we head towards the last league game for all these teams, in fact, 4 teams are still alive in the race from India's group. That's India, Pakistan, South Africa, and Bangladesh, all technically alive to make it to the semi-finals.
Indeed. I mean, as I was just opening the debate, that it's been 12 days since the Super 12s began, from October 22. We still don't have our 4 semi-finalists from either group. You've been part of many T20 World Cups, Nikhil. Is this the most open and unpredictable T20 World Cup that you've been part of?
Very tough to say. Very tough to say. I mean, I have to recall 2009. Yeah, there was. I think it went down to the wire till the last. But India got knocked out. I think they lost to England and then were knocked out. So they were still alive till the last game. Then 2010, I was there in West Indies. That was also a poor World Cup for India. I think, yeah. So from India's point of view, I think.
Have you been part of a World Cup that India has won?
No, I didn't travel for the 2007 World Cup. I'll tell you why I didn't travel. Because I traveled for the 2007 50 over World Cup. And that was such a painful experience that I chose that I will not go and cover the Indian team.
Because the gentleman that you are traveling with, he has a very poor track record. You know, he's covered
dubious record.
Very exactly, because there have been only 2 World Cups that he has missed, and as in 2011 he was in the studios. He didn't travel too much, of course, besides the opening ceremony, if I remember correctly. That one India won. And then the 2007 also we won. So the gentlemen, if you are Neil Armstrong, who was the other guy?
Buzz Aldrin.
Buzz Aldrin.
Yes, Buzz
Yeah.
Aldrin. So the other eagle has a very
So
dubious-
I was also not part of the 2007 World Cup. 2011, I was there at Wankhede for the final. Yeah, so I can claim to be there when it happened because we were doing the shows out of Wankhede, just outside Wankhede. So I was anchoring out of that place. Yeah, so I have witnessed that
Good.
in person. Yes, but I see again. I mean, winning a World Cup is too far away. I think India would be glad that they've made it thus far, and I think you expect them to beat Zimbabwe as much as we build it up.
Yep.
I think you expect them to beat Zimbabwe. So you play the semi-final. As things stand right now, it's most likely India are going to be topping their group. So I mean, educated guess, India top their group. That means they go to Adelaide, and most likely they're going to be playing England. There's no chance I see Australia qualifying, because Australia need to beat Afghanistan by a margin of 70 odd runs.
Yes.
And then if England were anyway to beat Sri Lanka, then their run rate anyway goes up. So, I mean, a 100-run margin for Afghanistan, that's not happening for Australia. I think the only way Australia will qualify is if England lose to Sri Lanka.
Yes.
And again, that's the chances of that happening are not too bright. Though Sri Lanka, I think, is a tougher opponent than what India are going to face in Zimbabwe. So, most likely, if you were to ask me, and I think you'd be pretty safe to say that it's going to be an India-England semi-final in Adelaide, and a South Africa-New Zealand semi-final in Sydney.
Okay, who would you prefer, or would you think that India would prefer in the semis? Of course, semi-final, that 2019 memories should be a little fresh only, that when they lost to New Zealand in those semi-finals. But I understand, New Zealand, Australia, England. New Zealand has done really well beating Australia in that first game. But then still, don't you think that India would much rather want to face New Zealand, given a choice?
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. I think even while we keep talking about New Zealand being the bogey team for India, I still think that India would prefer to face a New Zealand, because we know, see, Australia you don't want to face in a knockout. They have just become a different beast, right? England also, with the firepower they have in the batting, and mind you, both your semi-finals are in batting friendly conditions in Adelaide and Sydney. So India, if you were playing England, you would want to play England in a Melbourne or Perth, ideally, because you want seam friendly conditions against England, because England rely on their batting order, lots of runs, and so the one way you can beat them is if you have conditions that are favoring the seam bowlers, and in which case England can fold up. But in pure batting conditions, you don't want to be facing England, and of course, as I said, you don't want to be facing in Australia and during a knockout of an ICC tournament. So I think the one option that India would prefer to have is New Zealand. And considering, I know New Zealand are dangerous in ICC tournaments, but they need conditions to help them. You again playing in Sydney and Adelaide, two batting friendly conditions, and I think their head to head, India become favourite when you compare them to New Zealand. So India would want New Zealand. The only way that can happen is if they finish second in the table,
right.
And that can happen if it's a washout. India-Zimbabwe game is washout, in which case India qualify. But they qualify second if South Africa go and win their final game. So then they can still finish second, if I'm not mistaken. So that's one way of India then getting to play a New Zealand. So for once, you would want that the weather gods, who have been very kind to the Indian team, not to be kind to them, or I don't know, indirectly be kind to them.
No, I get your point, what you're saying. Even I agree, despite, because England, the kind of teams that these are, England and Australia, I wouldn't want to face them in a knockout game, be it England or Australia.
Yeah.
I would much rather want to face a New Zealand team. So the team has reached Melbourne, right?
Yes, the team has reached Melbourne. They are traveling today. Tomorrow is a rest day, and it's only day after that they're going to practice, which is the day before the game. So that's it. So 2 days of rest. Today was travel. They're tired, chilling, and tomorrow is a rest day for them. So before the Zimbabwe game, they're going to be practicing here in Melbourne. So that's the latest. And maybe then they can catch up on social media feeds and figure out how, the journalists and the fraternity in Bangladesh is crying over how that they've been robbed of that game, that so many things that went against Bangladesh and how ICC favors India. I'm sure you must have gone through your social media feeds. It's buzzing at the moment. So that I think is the hottest topic right now. But I was there at the ground, and if you, I mean that fake fielding, I think that was there. I mean, they have right to be aggrieved.
You're saying it happened.
Sorry.
So you are saying it's not just an allegation; it did happen there.
Yes, the fake fielding did happen. I mean, the visual is there of Virat doing it. The only, I think, benefit of the doubt that goes to the Indian team is that the captains didn't notice it. The captains didn't. Sorry, I beg your pardon. The umpires didn't notice it. They didn't spot it. Yeah. So if they didn't spot it, then clearly they couldn't have signaled anything. Otherwise, 5 penalty runs would be there. So I think they have the right to be aggrieved. That did happen. It's on camera. But then you have these sort of incident. A lot of things doesn't get picked on camera. I think. I mean, if you look at that way, even the Dinesh Karthik run out was a bit controversial. I thought it was. The hand had hit the stump, but the was quick to give that out. So I'm saying this might. Sorry.
So taking Nikhil's point forward, the players had to raise an objection at that time. Only then it was valid. Otherwise, now after the game is over, you can't raise that objection. It's in the playing conditions. The players has to raise it with the officials at that point in time.
Or maybe the umpires could have been a little more vigilant. That's also a point that can be made, because the onus, as far as playing conditions, as far as following of the rules is concerned, that onus falls on the umpires, and probably that opens up a bigger debate. That do we need more vigilance? So you've got a third umpire, you've got 2 on-field umpires. Do you, as Pakistan, as a Bangladeshi supporter, I could say that you need stricter measures in place. You need more vigilance, perhaps.
But and also that I wanted to touch upon this point. I can understand, what Virat immediately when he's facing that delivery, when the ball is delivered, the way he reacts straight away towards the umpire. That happened with Pakistan. That happened yesterday also against Bangladesh. I can understand that it can be an instinctive reaction of any player, but isn't it happening far too often?
Sorry, which reaction were you talking about?
The no ball.
The no ball gesture. The no ball gesture.
Yes, I agree. See, I mean, I agree. You have a point there to make that, had it been some other batsman or lesser known batsman, he could have been dealt with. And sometimes we've known, and there are precedents in the past where batsmen have been warned and even fined. These gestures aren't taken but can I be honest? That's the nature of sport, right? Let me give you examples of football. They often say that Messi and Ronaldo get fouls much easier than a lot of other players because referees are very careful with any touch against them. They often say that in tennis as well, certain things go in favor of the draws or things like that in favor of the top seed players. They get to play at the better time, cooler conditions at night. So I mean, that's the nature of sport and commercial sport where top batsmen or the top players in their respective sport get away with marginal things. So I think Virat Kohli is not the first one. He clearly won't be the last one to get that advantage in that game. But I think in all of this, Bangladesh need to introspect as to, okay, fine, those small moments sometimes go your way, go against you. But was that the reason they lost the match? No, they lost the match because they shot themselves in the foot. So it was clearly, eventually it was just a 5-run difference, despite the fact that they committed harakiri. Had any one of them applied themselves, even for a period of 4-5 overs, Shakib included, all other experienced batsmen included, they could have ended up on the winning side. And today they were with Pakistan's result, they were even one of the favorites to go through to the semi-final. So they missed a golden opportunity there as well. So I think the blame lies with how Bangladesh dealt with it.
Yep.
And can I be honest? When we were sitting in the dressing room and Litan Das was going, hammer and tongs, and Vikrant was sitting next to me and he said, this game and a lot of other journalists. And I told him, you know what? India is winning this, and I'm not saying it because I have a lot of faith with the Indian bowlers, but I have a lot of faith in the Bangladesh batting that they will panic and help India win, because we've seen it in the past. That tends to happen with Bangladesh team, and earlier we used to say, oh, it's a lack of experience and things like that, but it happens far too often. So that happened. If you remember, I mean, the last T20 game, they were in a winning position that last over, 2016, when India and Bangladesh played. They just gave that game to India on a platter. So they do have this history of committing harakiri, and that is something for them to introspect and look at. And yes, and I don't know why always India-Bangladesh games have these minor issues. Again, I was here 2019 World Cup,
even
here in this city, in Melbourne.
No ball.
Yeah, Rohit Sharma full toss. Yeah, I think it was the fast bowler. I used to use his shoulder towards the end. Just his name is slipping out of my mind. He was very nippy right arm fast bowler that they had. He was bowling in.
Rubel.
He in fact captained.
Rubel.
No, I don't think it was Rubel. Yes. I think it was when MS Dhoni pushed him.
No, that was Mustafizur.
That's Rohit Sharma.
Rohit Sharma.
Rohit
Sharma.
Right. Rubel to is behind bars, no? Rubel is he behind bars? Oh no, he's being given mercy.
I think so, yeah. I think that was the one behind ball was Shahadat, if I'm not
Shahadat Hussain.
Shahadat Hussain. Yes.
They have this. I can't say habit. But anyways, Akshay Venkatesh is asking you. You think India should go? India should be
aggressive in the power play against Zimbabwe
and score 200 to boost their run rate.
Also, how about promoting DK to number 3 to make sure he gets some game time? Why would you want to promote him and once again disrupt that batting order?
And once you know that Hardik is doing well in that position in the given slot that he has, he did well for Gujarat as well over there. Why would you want to change your top 5? As simple as that.
I mean, I don't know. DK, I think if his keeping is good, he stays. Yeah. I don't think you're going to get Pant in. You're not going to make too many changes, especially now when you are only potentially 3 games away from securing the title.
Now there could be the Indian team management might be thinking they may have some other ideas, but I think they will go in with the same 11 right through the tournament.
Right through the tournament.
Because if they had to make any
Just one point on DK, and I agree with all of you guys where you say that, I think DK will get another shot and he should. But, I've been supporting that listen, he's been given that one job, which is that of a finisher. It's a high risk job. So, we need to be patient with him because there are more chances of him failing than succeeding. But even if he succeeds about 30% I think that's a great success rate. However, I think there is one criticism that needs to be spoken of, and he needs to address it, is that the wicket that he gave away was a gift that run out. My point is, you're playing a high risk game. The team needs you. Why would you, from DK's perspective too, the lens is on you. People are looking at you closely. Why would you give them an opportunity to question by getting run out? Carelessly. I'm saying if he got out, like he got out in the Pakistan game because he was trying to play a shot, I would understand. Or he got out in the South Africa game trying to show intent and get out. That's fine. That happens because that's his role and he will fail. That is still acceptable. But the way he gets run out, I think he's gifting his wicket and he's doing disservice not only to the team but to himself as well. He's allowing people to question him. And the fact is that it's not a one-off. It happens with him a lot of times. Why doesn't someone speak to him and say that, listen, calm down, just relax. Just figure out your run out.
He's a bit nervy at times. We all know he looks a little fidgety also. But here when he got run out yesterday against Bangladesh, I don't know if I can say if it his fault or whose, but Virat told him watch the ball. Were you not watching the ball? And DK said, I was watching you. And usually, this is what is advised, that you watch your partner if he is taking a call, because he would have been running towards the danger end. I'm talking about Virat Kohli. So maybe DK was there. He didn't want to disrupt the innings with that wicket of Virat Kohli. Maybe he sacrificed. He was ready to sacrifice, and eventually he got out. And this guy, Ashwin.
Ashwin.
Siddharth's favorite. Ashwin came into bat, got those
4
10,
and 6.
4 and a 6, and in the end,
Oh,
he
very
always-
crucial runs.
5
Very
runs.
crucial
Yeah.
run.
that-
Many think Ashwin doing DK's job, huh?
Yes. Good bat. Although only in
Yeah,
test.
one Chennai standing up for the other, saying, "Don't worry, I got you, mate. You know,
Yeah,
you've
of
not
course.
done your job." And by the way, Ashwin has saved him twice, huh? That
Yes.
Pakistan game also, I think.
Pakistan game
with
was-
Pakistan.
Yes,
That
the
too
winning
by
flag.
his own
Yeah.
admission, DK's own admission.
Yep.
He said,
Yes,
"Thank you for saving
yes,
me."
yes. But though Rahul makes an interesting point. I think that bit where Virat has a conversation with him saying, "Weren't you watching the ball?" I think DK was on the right there, because if you're a non-striker and the ball goes behind you, then you're not supposed to be ball watching.
Yep.
You're supposed to watch your partner. That's the correct way. If it goes behind the batsman on strike, that's when you watch the ball, and that's when it's for you to decide. So those are basic elementary things that you do in cricket, and I think on that occasion, DK
give-
got his basics
I will
right,
give
but
him
at
the
least
benefit
slight
of
more
doubt
game
to this.
awareness he needed.
I will give him the benefit of doubt in that case, and also now that India has won, so you can just forget about it. But Ashwin continues to play, huh?
Yeah, despite not getting, I think. See, now the point is that they are going in and they keep talking about matchups. I just can't figure out matchups, because you try and play him against left-handed batsmen, but is he getting you wickets?
No.
Did he get you wickets against Bangladesh, where they were left-handers, or against South Africa, where they were left-handers? In fact, left-hander in Miller actually took him to task. So
Yeah.
these matchups are a bit much. I think you still need to. I mean, I think we sound like a stuck record going on and on about the leggy should play. I think the team management is trying to justify that decision also by saying, apart from matchup, he gives you some batting cushion, which I agree, fine, he does. He's a better batsman than Yuzi Chahal. But I mean, again, would Bhuvneshwar Kumar also be able to do that? A few runs? Maybe not. And I think you don't win or lose games by 4 or 5 balls. Yeah, I think you win or lose games by 24 balls that are bowler balls. So your impact on 24 balls, which Ashwin has to bowl, is going to be far greater than 5 or 6 deliveries that he faces as a batsman. So if I'm looking at 24 balls versus 5-6 balls as a batsman, then what should I look at? Obviously the 24 balls, as to who will have more impact in the 24 balls. And the answer to that is pretty clear between Ashwin and Yuzi, that it is going to be Yuzi. I think the only way Yuzi Chahal will play in the 11 is the day that get in Harshal Patel into the 11, because Harshal then gives the cushion with batting, in which case Harshal then can bat at number 8, and then Ashwin goes out, and then you can fit in Yuzi Chahal. That's the mindset of the team that I can tell you, and that's pretty much clear. I think if they are so, they've been vocal about it. I attended the press conference of Vikram Rathore. He was vocal about it, where he said that we need some batting at number 8. So they're clearly not looking at Bhuvi as that guy who can do number 8. So it'll either be Ashwin or Harshal Patel. So only if Harshal comes in at 8 can Ashwin go out and allow Yuzi. That's the mindset of the team. I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't know what you guys think of it, but that's a warped logic.
I think, Nikhil, the Indian team management will stick to the combination that they've been playing with in the next few matches also. The only I think, if they have a choice or an option that they might just consider, could be Rishabh Pant over DK, because DK has not been amongst the runs throughout this tournament. Now I know he's asked to do a very, very difficult job, but then that's the only option that I think India might just consider, because I think they're going to persist with the Ashwin, or against England they might just go in with just to surprise them. They might just throw in a Yuzi Chahal in a big game. And Yuzi Chahal is used to be in these kind of situations, be it IPL. He's done the tough job in the past, be it in IPL or for the Indian team, because that was actually one of the game plans that India had in the last T20 World Cup, where they thought that in the bigger games against the big teams, we'll unleash an entity that not many people are familiar with, like Varun Chakravarti. So maybe that could be an idea, although this team management, I think they usually back the team that they have on with them at the moment, and then they might just, the only I think option that they might just consider could be Rishabh Pant. That's it.
True, true. I agree. I think it'll. I don't think it is going to happen immediately versus Zimbabwe. So I think DK is going to play versus Zimbabwe. I don't know whether because you're playing at the MCG bigger ground, you may still go in with a UZ Chahal. You might just be surprised if he comes in. But again, I doubt. I think the only way he comes in is if Harshal plays. Harshal is not going to get into the three fast bowlers. You're clearly going to have your three fast bowlers in Arshdeep, Shami, and Bhuvaneshwar. So if that's not happening, it doesn't. But you're right. I think these two options can be taken into account. You never know if DK has another failure, then straight away in the knockout game. And in case of Rishabh Pant, he's not a newbie, he's not a fresher, he's not a guy who's not played pressure games before. So maybe no harm in bringing him directly for a semi-final if DK has another unsuccessful game versus Zimbabwe.
But anyways, I think we'll see. India will play Zimbabwe on Sunday, and we'll see if they want to test a few of their players who've not gotten a game or two anyways. But Nikhil, we'll let you go. I know you may have to swipe your card at the reception.
Yes.
You are, or the other people are doing it for you. So you've had a long
No, this one I made a reservation. So we split between the two of us who do reservation. That is me and Himanshu. We have been assigned the task of looking at
I heard
hotels.
that you've been flooded with phone calls to get a few iPhones from Australia. Huh?
Yes, yes. But that is because at one point they thought that I was going to get a 15% discount, but now I've had to burst their bubble and say that 15% discount is not happening. So now some of them might just back off. So yeah, now it's I think there's not too much of a difference between a price of an iPhone in India and Australia, marginal. But I still I'm happy to take more orders. I'm happy to, so long as you guys give me your credit card numbers, because I don't have too much money to pay.
I have luckily let go of the iPhone at the right time, I feel.
Anyways, before I let you go, Nikhil, just one final question. Sachin Bhatia, guys, even with Pant's poor form in T20, he would have been more impactful than DK. Please analyze who's Das.
This performance.
Okay. He's saying please analyze Litton Das' performance. Yeah, come on, yeah.
Ashwin, however,
has made a difference only with the bat in 2 matches. Enjoy watching your discussion. Thank you, Sachin. We'll come back to all these points maybe tomorrow or later in the day. Nikhil is going to get us a lot of updates as to what the Indian team is doing in Melbourne, what they are thinking, or is there going to be a change. After the result today in Sydney, where Pakistan have beaten South Africa by 43 runs?
33 runs.
33 runs. I think the race for that semi-final spot has intensified, and we'll see what happens next. Do subscribe to Sports Today and
for all.
Press that bell icon.
And we are also there on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. So shower us with love. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good evening. Vanakkam.